Hey everybody. Yesterday I got it. I just found some basic little weird bugs and oddities that I straightened out. Um, and then today my main goal was to actually convert this over from a like an interval based update to a time based update. And I sort of a couple videos back, the mega long one, I kind of went over like why JavaScript by its very nature is interval based, not time based, and why I think that's very unique to JavaScript. But anyways, this time we have to so basically I had to add like sort of an extra layer in order to make that time based, not interval based. Um, so one of the things I'm just going to kind of start off with like what the main guts of the change was to make this happen, and then kind of just show what I managed to accomplish and change, and then kind of go over the code as a whole, like the way I normally do. So, so basically, I added this function. It's called update mesh for time, and it accepts a mesh, which is an actual 3JS mesh, which will either be at this time, either be a cube or a sphere, and then what the current time is. Um, and then what it does is it gets the mesh item, which is the data that we saved. It's our light mesh, um, which I remember early on, I was saying that in a professional environment, a lot of times they would not let me create like a mesh list of mesh items. They would want to just have one list that's the major list of that contains the actual 3JS mesh, that would have been a disaster. We would not be able to do what we're doing right now, I think, or it'd been very difficult to do what we're doing right now. Um, so there's been two major road bumps that made sort of creating a light mesh item. One is doing deep copies is impossible with those other with the full meshes because they have references that reference back to themselves. And in order to get these Angular components to update, you need to be able to do a deep copy. And then two, uh, doing well, you don't have to do a deep copy, but you would with those, or you would lose you would lose updates and all kinds of other problems. And now number two is I want to maintain the original state and update what's on the screen. And since we have these in two different data structures, that's very trivial and easy to do. So right now we're hard coding how fast these things move when they're animated, and then we're figuring out what we're calculating what the new positions are for a mesh based on the original position. Um, and I do this multiplication by one to force a casting from a string to a number. Um, this in some places they love this. They absolutely love this, and other places they absolutely hate it. So you might have to do another like an official casting in some environments, and in some places you can get away with just forcing a cast by multiplying by number one. Um, but basically, if this is a string and it's one, and you multiply it by one, that's a way to force it to convert it from a string to a number. And it's just a simple hack that's been around since the very first day of JavaScript. Um, and like I said, some places love it, some places hate it. And so then we have our speed that I just said is these constants is up here, and then the amount of time, and that's how it determines. So I'm going to start this. I'm going to restart this animation, and I'm going to have it run. And if you watch the last couple of videos, that is so much smoother than um, it was before. And then so here's what we can do now. So we can reset these, and then we can start it from the beginning and have it run. We can while it's running, we can just reset it, and we can stop it, and then we can reset it, and then we can mess with them while we're doing that. So as you see here, I have five. You can see them up here, five meshes, and they are set to different places and they're different colors and they have names. And so this one is called blue middle, and so I'm going to change that. I'm going to the probably let's go ahead and change the width to like I don't know point. Yeah, that actually be pretty interesting. That's a little skinny one. It's going to be doing flipping. So as you can see, that's pretty interesting. We can restart it, and then we could make it like wider, so we can say it's a or deeper. So we'll say it's a depth of 3, and then we'll go ahead and watch it. But as you see, we have precision control now of what is happening. Now we don't have any control of what animation is taking place, and that is next. But that is definitely a step forward. And like I said, it's just smooth as silk now. You don't see any sort of weird jumping or anything like that, and that's because everything is time based, and that is this code. So, anyways, to take from the top, let's say, so in the uh, animation manager, let me go to this view. Animation manager, basically added a break. Probably should just throw this in a div. Every once in a while, my 1990s version of myself pops out, and breaks were just the way things were back then. And it calls a function call. I added a new button, and it's a primary button. It has the word restart in it, and it calls a function called restart animation. So when you hit save, if you add a mesh, and then you go to animations and you hit restart, that function gets called. So let's go over there and look at that. There's not a whole lot in here, so I guess I should still look at it in this view though. Animation manager. So we had to import the button module, and then we had to add that to the imports. And I saw that is actually going away in another video. That I think all you're gonna have to do is this, and you won't even have this in the near future. So I don't know. That's gonna be cool. And also another thing to note is that Angular 17.3 dropped, and it actually has some changes in the way that components output works. So here shortly, I just kind of have to keep reminding myself because I need to stay up to date. If those who don't keep up, if you don't keep up, you get left behind. That's just the way it's the Pirates code. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to stop everything and do an update here soon. But in update animations, anytime an animation is updated, so that's whenever this box is checked, it gets restarted. So it starts from the beginning again whenever you restart. You can also restart there. So you can stop it. It only happens if it's checked. So right now we stopped it, we get to see it as it is, and then we can actually mess with it. I believe if we mess with it, it changes. Yeah, it restarts anyways because that has the restart in it as well. And the reason I did that was because so let's say like you're working on it for, you want to see, you're probably going to want to see the animation from the beginning, not the beginning. And that would be easy to change if we don't want that. So in the mesh component, I got rid of all the random colors and changed the sizes back to 1, and the positions, set them back to 0, the default positions. And that was about it. That was actually everything I did. And then in the service, I added this thing that says like anytime you do an update to a mesh, it restarts the clock. And that's really the reason why, like, if you change this to a 1, all the animation starts back from the beginning. I got rid of all this stuff inside the animation callback that was setting the actual mesh item positions because they're staying as they were. And actually they were already commented out, so that wasn't actually any kind of change. And then I created this new update for Mesh for Time, which we already went over, and that is 10 minutes. So happy coding. Bye.